Hi. For those of you watching who don't know me, my name's Carla. Um, I recently managed to get out of a relationship with a narcissist. Um, and I'm hoping that by making this video, it can help someone else either recognize the signs before you get too far into it, or escape the mental labyrinth that these people build specifically for you. And what I mean by they build it specifically for you is that these people do their research, and before you even get into a full-fledged relationship, they usually know what you're about and what you want, what your life is about. They do their research on you. You're a project to them a lot of times. So hindsight, I hate using the cliche that hindsight is 20/20, but it's true. When I look back on some of the things that happened during this relationship, it was only a year-long relationship, but it was rotten enough that it kind of messed with my mind. I think I kept enough emotional distance where it didn't mess me up too much, but I know that there are women out there who have been in these narcissistic relationships for years, and I don't know what kind of damage that causes. I can't even imagine investing a year of my life into this person. He wasn't just a narcissist, that's the thing. He's also a con man, and he's very good at what he does. And the thing is that the very beginning of the relationship, this man was so charming, and he seemed like one of the most normal people you could ever know. He's really an awesome person, or he seems to be. He seems to be a really awesome person. He's charming, and he says all of the right things, and he knows how to use his voice, and he uses it. For all of the things that this person, he could use all of his talents and skills for something so good to help people. But he chooses to do this. He makes his living off of manipulating people. That's what he does. He wrecked my van. He managed to get me to use all of my savings on him. And I kept going back. I knew that there was things wrong, and I saw red flags, and I kept telling myself, no, I'm reading too much into it, right? I wasn't reading too much into it. Genuinely, he was a bad guy, and I didn't want to see that. And that might have to do with me being my age and thinking that there's very little possibility of me finding another mate. It might have to do with lower self-esteem. I don't know. I know that I'm grateful that I got out of it. I know that at this point, I hope that he cannot manipulate me enough to go back. Because looking at some of the behaviors over the past year, things fall into place, you know what I mean? The reason why I'm making this video is because I am trying to process this stuff for myself, to be able to understand what really happened. It's like, it screws with your mind. The whole thing, the whole situation, and the way it makes you feel is that you're kind of a little bit off, like you're not in touch with reality anymore. At the beginning of the relationship, there was a lot of love bombing. He said that he loved me within a couple of weeks. Within a couple of weeks, he was saying he loved me, and probably after a month, there was this one day he threw me on the bed and he said, "I want you to marry me." And he was like looking lovingly into my eyes, you know, and it was a very dramatic moment. He made it into this big dramatic moment, and I knew that that couldn't be real. At the same time, I was kind of eating it up because I hadn't been in a relationship for so long, and I hadn't had any kind of male attention for so long. I was craving that attention, and it makes me mad at myself now when I think about it, that I fell into it, when it seems so fake now, when it seems so ridiculous. And he had to know how dumb this really was. But to me, it was like, is this real? You know, is this real? But yeah, that love bombing, all that stuff, it's kind of crazy. It kind of draws you in if you've been craving that kind of attention for a while. And then he was doing what psychologists call mirroring. And I think what he did is he must have looked online and seen my profile, done his research on me. He had to have done his research, because suddenly he was a photographer, a writer, and a graphic arts person. And on my profile on Facebook, it shows that I have been in the graphic arts. I graduated in graphic communications. I was a photographer for many years, and I've written a few books. And so he grasped onto this, and he was all of these things. But the thing is that with being all of these things, he was better though. See, the thing about this is that we were in a thrift store in Missouri one time, and he had picked up this little box that looked like a camera lens, and he goes, "Oh, a camera lens." And I was looking at him, and he had set it down, and I thought, that's not a camera lens, because, you know, on the back of a camera lens, you have the little metal notches that screw into the camera. Well, there were no metal notches, number one. Number two, if you've ever been a photographer and you've handled a camera lens, you know how heavy they are, because there's glass inside of them. There's thick glass inside of a camera lens. I picked this up, and it was very light, and I twisted it, and the lid comes off. So it's a little novelty box for somebody who's involved with photography. It was like a gift thing. And he didn't know that. He didn't know that it wasn't a camera lens. He thought from the look of it that it was a camera lens. Now, the reason why I'm making this into I'm talking about this is because this man was never a photographer. If he was a photographer, he would have known that. He had made this story up that he was a photographer at one time. And, you know, when this happened in the thrift store, I thought, how could he not? I never even approached him with this, though. And the reason why I didn't approach him is because I didn't want to embarrass him. But at the same time, I put it in the back of my head. I didn't want to acknowledge this truth about him, that he was lying about who he was. The thing is that this man was so deceptive that he actually did his research. He looked me up online and found everything he could about my history and then used it against me to draw me in. I don't know if every narcissist does this or every con man does this, but he did. And I feel like this is something very dangerous for people. This is, I mean, who does that? You know, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Also, another red flag is this grandiose personality thing. From what I understand, narcissists are constantly building themselves up to you. They're constantly talking about themselves, how great they are. Well, this particular man was always talking about how he had cared for his ailing mother for 4 years by himself, 24/7, while she was dying. And, well, at first it was because she had a broken hip. And then she had a second broken hip. So she had 2 broken hips that were replaced. And then she started having heart problems. And so the thing is that I don't know if this is true or not, because like all of the time that I was with him, I never met one family member of his. He talked about his family members, but I never met any of them. And it seemed like he would make up stories about like his family, and I really don't think any of it's true. I don't think that he ever cared for an ailing mother. Number one, he's really a lazy person. He's one of the laziest people I've ever seen. I mean, he has a problem being able to pump gas. And so, I don't know. I have a problem believing that he cared for an ailing mother. I don't see that. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at my nose, because I made a list of the red flags that I see, that I look back on now. I can see all of the red flags, but at the time that you're in a relationship, you don't really see this stuff. I mean, even if you do see it, you kind of want to ignore it because you care for this person, or you're needing the attention. You don't want to upset the cart, so to speak. Make waves. You want it to be real, and it's not real. It's not. It sucks because you're investing your time and your money and whatever resources it is that they can use from you. So you don't want to feel used, and so you ignore these things, and that sucks. That sucks that you get into that kind of position. One of the things, too, that this, see, the thing is, when I got into this relationship, he's a homeless person. And I thought I was just helping some person out. And it ended up going into more things, and it just gradually became what it became. But he was a homeless person on the side of the road, holding a sign, and I started helping him. And I would give him rides. I would give him like a McDonald's card or something like that so he could get coffee or something like that. But it ended up being like, whenever he would see me, he would like flag me down and say, hey, can you give me a ride here or give me a ride there? And he was always needing something, though. And he was always a victim of something, of someone else. Someone had done this to him or they'd done that to him, and I felt bad for him, and I wanted to make everything better. And I don't want to think that I have like this weird hero complex, but there's something there that I know I have in me that makes me want to try to save people. I don't know why. I don't know why I think I can do that. I mean, I barely hang on myself. And for some reason, I have that, So I'm partly to blame for my situation because I think I can help other people when I can't even help myself most of the time, in the early stages of our relationship, it was really sweet most of the time. It's as long as it was in that good spot. The thing is, pretty early on, there were a couple of things that I had noticed. Number one, he did drink. He drank every day. And I didn't like it. And I told him that I don't like it. I came from a family of alcoholics. But I did tolerate it. And the thing that I read and watched about narcissists is that when they don't get their way, a lot of times there will be bullying or bullying behavior, or they will throw a tantrum. They're trying to get their way. And there was this one time that we were going, it was in December of last year, and I would take him around to see Christmas lights. We would stop and get a hot cocoa, or we were just having a good time. I thought we were having a good time. And there was this one night, I was exhausted. I had worked the whole week. I was just really tired. I hadn't gotten much sleep the night before. And so I had come over to his motel room, and we were talking, and he asked if I could take him to go see Christmas lights. And see, the thing, I got a kick out of this, and the reason why is because I thought I was helping him do something normal, because he never got to do stuff like this, right? I mean, he didn't have a vehicle, and he had no friends in the area. He's from somewhere else. He's not really from this area. So I was helping him get out and do something normal that people do. And so this one night, though, that I was exhausted, I had went over to his hotel room, and he said, "Can we go look at Christmas lights?" And I said, "You know what? Tonight is not the night. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I didn't sleep much. I just came over to say hi, talk a little bit, and then I'm going to go home and go to bed." And he got quiet. And then he said, "Well, you know what? I really don't care about the Christmas lights. I just want you to take me to the liquor store." I said, "You called me over here to take you to the liquor store?" And he goes, "Well, I need to go. And I'm not taking you to the liquor store." And all of a sudden, he was just like in a rage. He threw something across the room. It hit the wall. I don't even remember what it was, but he goes, "Then what good are you?" And I didn't say anything. I walked out. I didn't talk to him for a few days after that. And when he did approach me, I mean, he knocked on my car window, because I'm a door dasher, so he knocked on my car window, and he said, "Hey, I want to apologize. I'm sorry that I did that." And I said, "What is it that you're apologizing for?" And he couldn't tell me what he was apologizing for. He said he doesn't know what he's apologizing for. He knows he must have done something, but he couldn't remember what it was. And you know, I'm not sure that I believe that he doesn't remember. I think he remembers everything he does. I think he just wanted his way and wanted me to take him to get liquor because he was too lazy to walk over there himself. And it was like right down the street. So the thing is that even if it's in the early stages, a narcissist, they will break character and throw a fit if they're not getting their way. And the way they throw their fit is either by bullying or throwing stuff around or calling you names, stuff like that. It's disgusting behavior. One of the things that someone brought up to me, along with the grandiose personality stuff, most of these narcissists, it's like nonstop bragging about themselves, about how good they are, how much they have done for other people, how professional they are in what they do. And the reason why I'm smiling about this is because this guy, he's a sign flyer, and he said, but he's professional. He's better than anybody else at doing this. And, oh God, when I think about this, I'm just like, oh God. But this was his job. But see, this is not his only job. He is a con artist. He is really a con artist. Everything he does is calculated. It's terrible when I think about it. It's really awful that I would go along with and listen to him. When I think about it, it's... I don't know if I understand it myself. I wanted to go along with it because I grew to love him. And I did. I mean, in a way, I grew to love him. There was this part of him that seemed to be untouched by this. There were parts of him that seemed to be uncorrupted, okay? Where there were moments of just him being him. And I guess those are the parts that I loved. That it was just him being himself in a pure clear way. And those were very rare. They were very rare moments. But there were moments of that. And it sucks that somebody can become something so distorted and something so terrible for other people that their job is to destroy other people, or to manipulate, or to set out to harm other people for some reason. I don't know what that's about. I don't know. I can't understand, and I don't think I ever want to understand why a person would set out to do that, to manipulate and try to harm other people. They know it's harming other people. For them, it's either just a job or it's just what they do, but they know that they're harming other people and they do it anyway. And to them, you're just another mark. It doesn't matter that you're being harmed. You're just a mark, you know. In the last part of our relationship, whenever I would voice concerns, he was very dismissive. He would say it was crazy talk, or I was overthinking. And my concerns just weren't real. They weren't. It was just, it didn't matter what I was concerned about. Or he would say this thing, oh, shh, don't make it into a thing, you know, that type of thing. Or put a sock in it. I don't know. I hope that if you are in one of these types of relationships, that you get the fuck out, because it's miserable. It's miserable the way these people make you feel. And like I said before, I'm working through this. I have a therapist, which is good. I need one. But you know, looking back on things over the past year, I think, how could I have went along with this? How could I have done that? I knew things that were wrong. I'm going to tell you one last story. We were in Des Moines, Iowa, and we were staying in my van at the time, and I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning because the van was moving. I woke up and I turned around, and he was in the driver's seat, and he was driving, and in the middle of the Love's parking lot, if you've ever been in a Love's parking lot, one of the big Loves, you will know that there are these concrete barrier type things with a light pole on the top. Well, he was driving my van straight towards that barrier. It's a concrete barrier with the light pole. And he was driving straight towards it. And I made that like that. And he looked at me. He looked up at me, and when he looked at me, the steering wheel turned. That is the only thing that saved us from hitting that barrier head on. For some reason, he was aiming my van straight at that barrier. I mean, we would have hit that full on. And I have no idea why he did it. He said he didn't see it. My my phone holder was in the way, and that's not true. I mean, the light pole is tall. It's like, what, 20 feet tall, something like that. And so he had to have seen it. I was making excuses for a while, and I said, no, he must have been like half asleep, or maybe he was dreaming. Maybe he was sleepwalking. You know, this is a form of sleepwalking or something. I was always trying to make excuses for him. But that man would have wrecked my van full on. He did wreck it. I mean, he got the side of it, and part of the headlight was damaged, and part of the side of my van was damaged. It brought that van to a full stop, hitting that concrete. But I was so into denying everything that I made excuses for that. I should have known. I mean, I did know, but I didn't want to know. So I don't know. I don't have real answers right now because I'm working through it, and I'm, talking to the therapist, and I'm still figuring it all out. I hope this helps you. If you're in this, please be careful and please get out. Thank you for listening.